scattered across the fractured landscapes of the Balkans. Colossal monuments rise from the earth like remnants of forgotten civilization. These striking, futuristic forms, often isolated and weathered, once carried deep meaning in a country that no longer appears on any map. Built during the 1960s and 1970s in the now-dissolved Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, these structures were more than memorials. They were ideological beacons, designed to project unity, strength, and a forward-looking national identity in the aftermath of World War II. From the sunlit shores of present-day Croatia and Slovenia to the rugged terrain of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Serbia, Kosovo, and North Macedonia, these monuments, known as spomeniks, punctuate the landscape with an otherworldly presence. They were often erected at the very sites where horrific massacres or acts of heroism had occurred, their dramatic shapes and towering forms speaking not through realism but through abstraction and symbolism. Unlike the representational, often authoritarian style of Soviet memorials, Yugoslavia's monuments embraced modernism. Their visual language borrowed freely from Western architectural trends, signaling the country's unique position between East and West. Yugoslavia, under the leadership of Josip Broz Tito, followed a different path from its Eastern Bloc neighbors. It was a socialist state that promoted a policy of self-management and maintained relative openness to the West. In this ideological middle ground, public art became a powerful tool. The monuments served not only as commemorations of resistance against fascism, but also as instruments of political storytelling. They conveyed a carefully curated narrative of unity among Yugoslavia's diverse ethnic groups: Serbs, Croats, Bosniaks, Slovenes, Macedonians, Montenegrins, Albanians, and others, woven together by the shared trauma of war and the promise of collective future. Tito saw these structures as symbols of a new, modern Yugoslavia, neither capitalist nor Soviet, but something entirely its own, abstract, often enormous, and intentionally devoid of ethnic or religious imagery. The monuments were meant to unify rather than divide. Their forms suggested motion, hope, and transformation, a visual metaphor for the future the country hoped to build. But beneath their ambition lay unresolved tensions that Tito's leadership could suppress but never truly erase. After his death in 1980, those fractures reemerged. The fragile federation began to unravel, and by the 1990s, it collapsed into a series of brutal wars driven by nationalism and ethnic conflict. The monuments, once symbols of unity and modernity, became relics of a shattered dream. Their meanings shifted with the political winds, revered by some, ignored or vandalized by others. Today, the spomeniks exist in varying states of preservation. Some are maintained as historic sites or house small museums, while others are crumbling, overtaken by vegetation and time. For many, they remain emotionally charged, either as nostalgic reminders of a hopeful past or as painful witnesses to the disintegration of a nation. Their strange shapes and haunting presence continue to provoke curiosity, standing as concrete echoes of complex and often misunderstood history.